Hello, everyone. Dan Kane, and this is part two of what I call the aspiration trap. I want to talk more about how we got here and why imitation is exhausting. So, I don't think this starts with anybody waking up one day and deciding that they weren't enough. It didn't start that way. The standard didn't come from women trying to outdo other women. It came from comparison becoming currency. Does that make sense? From images being edited, filtered, curated, and then sold back to us like that's what's supposed to be normal. Somewhere along the way, looking human stopped being enough. And here's the thing. The standard keeps changing. What was in 5 years ago isn't enough now. So the goalpost keeps moving and no one ever actually arrives. And that's intentional. So imitation feels like the safest route at first. You think, if I look like her, maybe I'll feel confident. If I sound like that, I'll be cool. If I do what works for them, maybe I'll finally feel good. But imitation is exhausting because it requires constant maintenance. You're always chasing someone else's reflection instead of living in your own skin. And the more you imitate, the more disconnected you'll feel from yourself. Because deep down, your soul knows when you're performing instead of expressing. That's why even after all the effort, the compliments, the likes, the validation, there's still that quiet emptiness. Aspiring to a standard asks you to disappear in pieces. Aspiring to yourself asks you to come home. And that's the shift. Not rejecting beauty, not judging choices, just recognizing that peace doesn't come from keeping up. It comes from aligning. You don't need to keep up with an image. What you need to reconnect with who you already are. Thank you for listening. See you in part 3.